Welcome everybody back to another BOLDcast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm also sick. And that's why this is coming out later, and also why we haven't posted in so long. We were gonna do streams, we had all these plans for the interim, but Lindsay went on a trip and then she got back and she was sick, and then she started to get over her sickness, but she's still sick. But I'm sick, and now it's been like way too long, so we're behind on Oshi no Ko. We fell behind immediately on Sense to Be a Hero. And honestly, I don't know how good this discussion is going to be today. Hopefully, we'll get in the swing of things and we'll see where it goes. But I was hesitant to even want to get to this today. But we're just so behind on everything. I just don't want to fall behind on anything else. So we're getting into it. Gotta get back in the swing of things, and then everything will fall into place, and we'll get caught up on all our shows, and we'll do a lot better.
We'll eventually not be stuffed up, and you won't have to listen to us sound like we're like.
Yeah, because it just seems like it's just getting worse and worse. But we're so eager to get back to things, but then it's just never feels like something else is getting in the way. So sorry about that. Anyway, let's check out Jujutsu, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Please like, subscribe. Uncuts on Patreon. Let's frickin' go.
Is this always at the very start?
I think they're putting it at the start because this is a part 2 episode.
Pretty rough to take a week break in between the two-parter episode.
I guess. It's crazy we've almost seen everything in the OP already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
is that real?
Yes. Yeah.
That's insane.
That's why, in Erased, for example, I mean, we talked about this when we watched Erased back in the day, but why he runs from the cops is because if the cops are coming, it's already over. You're
crazy.
you're already gonna be sentenced guilty. They do not give a fuck. See, a defense attorney?
We'll say that is fairly hard to believe. Oh. So he was like an indentured servant, basically. Well, not really. Weird.
It really does. It sounds like it. It sounds like with that involved, he just was traumatized because he was wrongfully accused previously, and then he's surrounded by a bunch of former criminals, and he is explicitly not told not to call the police if he finds anything suspicious. So he was torn on whether to turn in this thing, and then panicked when he got questioned about it. It's pretty cut and dry, but that doesn't mean that he didn't do it. Depends on who was killed. A couple?
I think it was a mom and a kid.
まずは団体の活動実績と税務申告、全入居者の素性を洗う。俺がとことん上から事情を聞き出すから、清水は調査を進めてない。いきなり私の負担でかくないですか？帰るか。
It looks like a really nice cat.
やること多いんだから。世論は有罪一色だし、こういうのもないし、死刑もあり得る。やるだけそうでしょう。なんで受けたんですか、こんな案件。
たまにはいいだろ。それじゃ腕が鈍い。
たまにじゃないじゃん。ないじゃん。
思ったことがそのまま出てるぞ。
相変わらずってわけだ。ボス弁がお金に興味ない。高木さんみたいに副業で喫茶店やれとまでは言いません。相変わらずって日車さんって昔からああなんですか？いいや、それは昔よりひどくなってる。彼がうちにいた時ね、危険運転飲酒運転ね。被告人は19歳で飲酒場の人たちに強要されたものだったの。でも関係者に口裏合わせ断金も用意できず執行猶予も取れ。
嘘つき。無罪になるって言ったじゃないか。
なんとか執行猶予つくようにするって言ったので、有罪になるなんて言ってない。これで懲りたでしょ。もう無理筋だったよ。弱者救済なんて、そりゃ裁判所と検察の理解もなしに限界があるでしょ。
Jesus.
依頼人に逆恨みされてまでないよ。
What a terrible country to live. Like, the more I think, it's just like it reminds me of the way that we as Canadians think about the States. Is like, you know, Canada and America are very similar in a lot of ways, but increasingly more and more Canadians are like detesting the idea of ever living in the States because of all the stuff that's going on there. But also, like, I just never, like, whenever I get reminded of this stat about and about like the justice system in Japan, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like, like you step one toe out of line and you are fucked. Like and nobody is there to save you. Like it's just it's so terrifying, you know.
I feel like what's like really crazy about it is like I don't know, like it's like in some things like this is like very like high level stuff, but also like they're really lax on like a lot of other things like
groping
and like and stuff like that is just like things that are just like specifically against women. They're like, oh, that's fine, we're not going to do anything about these people, but like then there's other things, but then it's like I don't know, yeah, it's
I think they do stuff about that, but it's just hard to catch people. It's like it's a difficult crime to prove, especially when people are so like in the like crammed in those trains. You know, even if you put up cameras, it's hard to prove that anybody was intentionally doing something wrong. But I actually don't know if it's like highly punished or not. Like they say it's not, but it like obviously it happens more than it can be punished. But it's, you know.
I wonder if they like don't highly punish it because then they would just be punishing too many people because it
happens too often.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a very understanding guy.
That would be a really stressful job.
He's like, the thing is, so sorry. Now back to JUJUTSU KAISEN. He's dealing with a lot of these stressful, really negative situations that are prime for creating cursed spirits and cursed energy. But he, like, his response here is very telling. Oh, this is a long episode, or I guess it's not, but we're just taking a long time. But he's just like, you know, he can't blame them. Like, he's keeping his calm. He's keeping his cool. He can't, I mean, maybe he's not. Maybe he's bubbling under the surface. But, like, you know, when Yuji's training to maintain his cursed energy, he was watching those movies, getting him, and like, you know, keeping his emotions steady. So he might have a lot of the energy in him and everything, but he seems to be kind of primed for being a sorcerer, which we know that he ends up becoming.
Yeah, if
you
you're
know.
like good at kind of like dealing with all of that like really negative.
Yeah, like
stuff.
he'll probably reach a breaking point, but like in the he's maybe given a technique by the culling games, so we'll see how that goes. But it would make sense that he's already so powerful in his where he's like playing the culling games is because he was already dealing with high stress situations and highly emotionally negative, like emotionally charged situations with people like losing their lives and their livelihoods, and he's dealing with it, and he's very measured with like, oh well, they're at the end of their rope. He's very understanding, very balanced, the scales of law. So it makes a lot of sense that somebody living this life would be able to become a good sorcerer. Also, he has a very interesting face. He looks like an orb character. Oh!
Damn.
Lucky.
本当に勝っちゃった。
まだだ。すぐ控訴してくれ。
Yeah. He's gonna be found guilty. Wow. What? Like, with all the evidence?
Yeah.
What's the point?
検察は税金とマンパワーを投入して証拠を上げる。
Like, they listed all of the evidence that you could list to like, he was literally somebody left, somebody fled.
Yeah, like
They
not
just-
even like tracking down that person.
They just want their pound of flesh. They just want, because it's all about, it's literally like, it gives a perspective of like why One Piece is a story that came out of Japan. Like this is the type of society that produces a story like One Piece. Like,
This is just like if you catch the person, whether or not it's the right person doesn't really matter. You can just say that you caught them.
yeah. Well, yeah,
And
it's all about the perception.
And especially in this, it's like the public perception, as we saw, like they don't know all the details. Like
They just see,
there
a
was
murderer
the
went
security
free.
camera footage that shows that he was in the convenience store at this time. That means it definitely couldn't have been him. There was all these weird rules. There was the other guy that left, but people don't know that, so they're just like, it would look really bad if they're like, oh, he's innocent, and then
They just saw
like,
the
let him
initial
be
headline
innocent.
of just like, oh, a guy who works there
Because it
had
is
the
super
knife.
suspicious.
Yeah.
If you don't know all these details, and even if you do know the details, it's like still kind of like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah, it's like it gives the same vibe. It gives the same like frustrated feeling as like the Academy Awards, where it's just like that the people presiding over this just like don't give a fuck. Like they probably didn't even watch all the movies. They just voted for the one that they thought. Oh, pisses me off. Because I know it's real. I know that this is based on real shit.
just the same
行
thing.
方不明者の犯行と疑う理由はないと無茶な事実認定が下され判決が覆った狭き上告はほぼ門前払いまともに審理さこの裁判は初めから有罪ありきの
Whoa.
And then he turns back at him.
その目で見る
君の心はどうなるのさ、日車くん。
弱者救済など掲げてはいません昔から自分がおかしいと感じたことを放っておけない将軍でしたそれが治って正義の女神は法の下の平等のために目を塞ぎ人々は保身のためならあらゆることに目をすがりついてきた手を振り払わないように私だけは目を開けていたい
この判決に不服がある場合は本日を含めて十分申し立て書を提出してください
Did he just awaken his own technique?
やり直しだ
Whoa. That thing's creepy.
And they can't see it, most of them. I wonder if that was at the time of the Shibuya incident, like, and he was involved with that, or if that's just him, if that's just his like he awakened at that moment because of the upswell of cursed energy.
Yeah.
虎杖も向かってるといいな。池袋か。シグロもいるかな。
Now they're going to different places.
And who knows if either of them are the real place. Oh yeah. Okay. She's definitely lying.
Good thing Megami is the one who found her.
Yeah. We still don't know if the other guy's telling the truth or not either.
何？違う。全然なってね。そう。ああ。こうだよこう。何黙ってんだよ。ヘラヘラ笑ってりゃいいんだよ。ああ、言わんこっちゃね。言ってねえけど。なんでわかんねえんだよ。バカなのか？どうもパッとしねえけど、プライドだけは高いんだ。そうにヘラヘラ調子合わせてりゃいいんだよ。そうすりゃ他の連されることもない。たまには美味しい思いもできる。やめろよ。あの学ラン密集？厨房かよ。
Oh, it's Yuji. I thought it was gonna be Megami.
It's because that kid knew Yuji from before.
All right, I forgot.
Oh, this music is so sick.
What is with like the carnival tracks and all in the shows we're watching?
Yeah.
By the way, like Olympic record breaking Yuji at, like before any cursed energy.
Yeah. He's just built different.
俺？おい、新宿に向かうつもりならやめろ。この辺は物資が豊富だ。プレイヤーとの遭遇率が上がる。
理由は2つ。道が分かりやすい。近くに私の拠点がある。
A base nearby.
シャワーくらい浴びさせて。昨日からの。
I don't have time for you to shower. The fuck?
移動してなければだけど。使った。ありがとう。待てって。何？ママと交流したいところだけど。俺は火車に会ったことないけど、頻繁にやられたんだ。
Yeah, that was pretty easy to do, so. Oh.
言うんだ俺。もうこんなことやめよう。
It's a trap.
Mm-hmm.
残念ながら俺はレジーだ。
What is this outfit?
You deceived the wrong motherfucker,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah, you should.
He's looking more and more like his dad every day, and that is not good for you, young lady.
You're literally fucking just a nuisance.
You are so outclassed by this guy.
Oh boy.
In a bathtub.
That water's cold.
君は服を着て風呂に入ったことがあるか？ないな。っていたよう気持ちがいい。
I feel terrible.
そうだ。
It's like organ music.
俺は小
Almost.
学校の頃、着衣水泳の授業が好きだっていろいろ動物になってな。やってはいけないと思い込んでいたことにチャレンジして30半ばを超えてブレてしまったわ。
One way to have a midlife crisis.
面白い。あんた火車だよな。何？話がしたい。待て、待て。俺と話すと30分5000円の相談料が。
Seems like he's got a couple screws loose now.
Yeah.
返じてみたくてな。そっか。
Not like what we saw in his backstory.
That's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
いや豪華。もういいよ、分かったから。その式神相当だ。弱けりゃかもって殺して終わりなんだけどね。いいよ君。
何それ？聞いてないんだけど。
どういうつもりだ？海遊についてどこまで知ってる？ 儀式だろう。界内のプレイヤーたちの呪力を利用して日本の人間を彼岸に人ならざる者へ変えるために天元様のことは伏せておくか。君、賢弱と知り合い
How much do you know?
Yeah.
いると賢弱と関わりのある術師。
Is he a past sorcerer?
完璧に太陽を終わらせたい。あ、タマ、終わらせるってよりはこの試合のそのためのルール追加に火車の100点を使わせてくれ。
Pretty good case.
断る。
Why? Do you like it?
それも冗談。いや、俺はただ死滅回遊に可能性を感じている。時に法は無力だ。死滅回遊のルールはどうだ。
Oh, it's like a clear set of rules. Somebody who's just frustrated with the way things were. It's like an apocalypse type thing where like there's a new chance, something to rely on.
プレイヤーの数、プレイヤーの実力差、結界のルール。10のコロニーに均等に振り分けられたとして、各コロニーに100人だ。だが、寿司の中にはカシモや火車のように続けた強者が60人の術師が間引かれた。
Jesus.
似たような連中は各コロニーに1人はいる。
早い段階で強者だけが残り、死滅回遊の膠着確かに感じていた。結界内が静かすぎると。
少なくともここ東京第一はね。加えてコロニーに侵入した際の点を散らす目的もあるんだろうが、一番は現代人術師の早期二次覚醒を促すためだろういる。本当にプレイヤーの
People just follow their deaths. Makes sense. Are these birds part of his technique?
ルールを犯した者は物理法則のように罰せる。素晴らしいことじゃないか。ルールに問題があるのは認めるが、回遊の土台のシステムは見守り、すぐに終わってしまっては困る。特にルール2と火の剥奪は一度見届けたい。
A stripping of a technique.
ルール2と8の術式の剥奪は一度見届けたい。
Okay. Why?
にも剥奪されると死ぬと思う。
死滅回遊はそれ自体が儀式だ。もたもたしてるとこの死ぬぞ。惰性だな。死滅回遊が永続を生む。それは俺もよく分かってない。言い方を変える。
Oh.
手を使わせろ。火車。撃ち殺したことはあるか。
Ooh, that was creepy.
持っていたより気持ちが式神。術師を20人殺してるかもしれない。今飛び込めない。
Are we gonna see this right now? Oh, a little bit.
対応する。
He's so creepy.
I don't think.
Oh,
What?
taking him to court. Whoa.
Oh my god. I was gonna
Damn.
say I don't think Yuji's on his level, and then he hits a domain expansion off rip.
強者だけが残った回遊に賢弱が爆弾を落とし、竜は役割を終える。
Drop a bomb. Drop a literal bomb? What the fuck?
What is going on?
What in the
here?
Evangelion is happening right now? Literally, with the hands folded, it's literally Evangelion. Is this a real bomb? Did this just happen? Or is this like a metaphorical bomb?
Thinking
Is
it's
he
a
talking to the
metaphorical
government?
bomb.
What the fuck?
Who let that guy in there? Who are these people?
I think this is the government. Or no, or is this like this guy? Oh, I was gonna say like this looks like a weird robe, but it doesn't. It's just, are these people from the government or are these people from, I think these are sorcerers from around the world or like representatives of sorcerers from around the world, maybe? Maybe not.
It'd be kind of like if they were just the government.
These guys look like they might be religious figures. Like this guy kind of has like a priest, but not really. Like maybe it's just his
I can't
suit.
tell.
And it's the color. Maybe not. Maybe not. But hang on. The rules idea of continuation is just a cover for the real plan. Mark my words. When only the strong remain, Kenjaku is going to drop a bomb on the game. And the culling game will fulfill its purpose.
What the heck is he doing talking to all these guys?
I don't know.
Because it's like, I wouldn't have thought that he would need other people.
Maybe he doesn't. Maybe they called him there to like make a deal with him. And we don't even know who these people are. Like, it seems like they're probably part of the government, but I'm getting very, like, their seal. It's been so long since we watched Evangelion, and we haven't even finished it, but they're like when Shinji's dad, the director, he's like going and talking with all these fucking iPads, and the Evangelion references and homages in the story of JJK. Like, if you go back to Jujutsu Kaisen 0, very similar to Evangelion. Like, many references to that, with Gojo being like Gendo Hikari, and you know, talking to all the higher ups of Jujutsu, like bargaining for Yuta to join Jujutsu High and everything, and like a million other things. Anyway, so like I think that he's reaching back to these influences here, but that doesn't really tell us the fact that he's doing that Gege is doing that with the story. That doesn't really tell us anything about who these people are. They're speaking Japanese, so I would assume, at least this person's speaking Japanese, so I would assume that they're Japanese. But I think that this is a metaphorical bomb.
Yeah.
I would assume. It looks like a real bomb, but it's in the OP, there's a bomb, this bomb is dropping, if you remember. And then it's like him laughing in the bomb.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's just a metaphorical bomb.
But so Higuruma is the one saying this, that like the culling game isn't the end game, but we already kind of know based on what Tengen is saying that there is a greater purpose to it. It's not just because of the game. So maybe it's just that Higuruma is catching on to what we were told by Tengen, which is that it's about the evolution of cursed energy and as kind of an organism.
Was that him saying that, or was that the other guy saying that? Because it was going back and forth, and I thought that it was the other guy.
Maybe it might be. It's probably the other guy.
It's the other guy, because that's why he wanted to team up with Megami, because he was like suspicious that other things were going on.
It is the other guy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Because Higuruma was saying like, oh, he's interested in the game. This other guy is looking beyond the game and like what the real purpose is. Because he can probably put two and two together and be like, a guy like that isn't just going to make this game just because he likes the game.
Yeah.
There's going to be a purpose to it.
Sucks that Higuruma kind of went a little crazy.
Yeah,
he saw too much shit.
That thing is so creepy. The like little like with the scales there.
Yeah.
He's literally just like, everything is so corrupt, so I'm just gonna decide.
I don't know if that's true. Like I think that maybe everything is so corrupt that I'm gonna decide. But I think that what might be interesting is that his technique relies upon like balance and actual justice. So like that's how you would beat it. Is like, I don't know what the rules would be for, you know, when he curses you and then you're trapped in this like trial and you have to like prove something or behave in some way or answer questions truthfully maybe. And if you lie, then you're like,
that would be like kind of the vibe that like I would get just like from something like this. It would be kind of like, yeah. But
it could just be just as twisted, because what we know from cursed techniques is they don't have to be balanced with the rest of the world. Like with Gojo, for example, you know, there's all these things in with trade-offs and everything, but like whatever 80% of sorcerers are trash, and then like the last little bit are born with techniques that are just like overpowered, like Maharaga, for example. Like so the point is, it all comes from within. The sense of balance, it's based off of your own perception. It's not actually there's not, you know, some outside force making sure that everything is balanced or that everything is fair. It's based on your own cognition and your own reflection of that. So if somebody who is insane and maybe has a few screws knocked loose or has a twisted sense of justice, it thinks that they are the ones who know justice, but really they're fucked up in the head. They manifest a cursed technique based on fairness and balance, but based on their own misrepresented scales and tipped scales because they're fucked up. You know, it could be just as effective as somebody with a clear mind, or more effective than somebody with a clear mind, doing the same thing, and the rules could be nonsensical, but still benefit from trade-offs like like a heavenly pact or something like that, like giving up something to gain a power boost in another area. It's all based on their own perception. So we'll see how far Higuruma's like fucked up nature has infiltrated his psyche, or if his sense of justice is pure enough to where it stands the test of his kind of mental break that he's had.
Yeah.
Because I think the idea is, where I see this going is, Kashimo is probably going to be more of like someone that we fight, and Higuruma, I can still see there being some negotiation, maybe fighting, like the fact that Yuji is the one interacting with him, maybe he could like escape or beat him into submission, or convince him more likely that there's still hope, that they're, in like kind of a shonen-y type way, showing that, especially with Yuji's new perspective of being like the cog, being a cog in the machine, being one with the system, like the fact that Yuji's sort of negotiating those ideas about not really having agency, of just being like a tool towards like, one step in the marathon of, or in the race towards good, triumphing over evil or whatever, or saving people. He's just one step in that, and that's he has a role to fulfill. He's not going to be the big hero. He's not going to, have a big sacrifice or something like that. He is just one cog in this great machine. And he's coming up, the fact that he's negotiating with that, and he's coming up against this person who lived that exact experience and came out the other side feeling very disenfranchised, feeling like the machine that he was a part of, that he was a cog in, was so corrupt and fucked up that he lost faith in it. So in a way, he's like a more advanced form of Yuji. To
the point that, like, then in the culling game, it seems like he wants to, like, his whole thing of, like, I would love to see someone stripped of their technique. It's because it's just, like, in the world, it's like, if you're guilty of a crime then you should be punished for it, and if you're innocent of a crime, then you shouldn't be punished for it. But because everything's so messed up, whether, if you're innocent, you could still be punished for a crime that you didn't commit. But in this game, what it's kind of promising is, through supernatural means, if you do not obey the rules, you will be punished. And if you obey the rules, you will not be punished in that same way. So, like, in a way, this game has, like, more truth and honesty to it than normal society. It's a really fucked up game, and it's all about, killing people and stuff. But
it's something you can
things
rely
that are
on.
It is more reliable than
it's
other.
Clear. It's clear. There's not like, books and tomes of case law to study, and like social pressures and weird little fine print about like perceptions of judges,
it's hard,
and whatever.
With what he finds intriguing about this game is like almost exactly what Yuji is trying to change about the game, because Yuji obviously doesn't want people to die because they're refusing to kill people, and like part of their whole plan is like, there needs to be ways that you can change amount of points without just killing people.
In a way you can abstain from the game.
But from his whole thing is just like, this is the rules, and I kind of want to see that carried out, and if you change that, then that's gonna fuck with it, and then I'm not gonna get to have proof that this is like real, kind of.
Yeah, and the fact that he's like bathing with his clothes on, he's like, he's so he's trying to liberate himself from the confines of an oppressive society that just does not care about people. So he's doing something that like doesn't make any sense and is ridiculous the first time we see him in the present times, because it's just he was so beaten down, and all of the hope was like stripped from being a part of the system, that he is now seeking that kind of comfort and that kind of agency in something else. And because of his conviction, which is a very strong component of being a sorcerer, your conviction in something, his technique is obviously incredibly strong. Like, he just manifested his technique, and he can already do a domain expansion. Kind of like nothing.
And he like hasn't. It's not like he's been trained. It's not like he even would have known what a domain expansion. What you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
maybe he met Kenjaku and or Umbrella Man told him about that, or what those things are. Or maybe you just intuited at some point, or I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he probably could have asked his little like helper guy. Mm-hmm. Maybe they can give like other information like that. Like they can be a little encyclopedia to help people learn about their techniques and stuff.
I feel like he might have just been able to intuitively do it because he was really, like, powerful.
How would you know what a domain, like, you would, my domain expansion.
Well, you would just, like, if you were maybe, if
like
you were
the
capable
word
of
domain expansion, like saying it.
I mean, maybe if someone else domain expansion him, and then he was like, oh, what if I try to, like,
make a weird hand sign and then smack his gavel on something, and yeah. I don't know.
Or he maybe could have done it, and then someone else did it and called it that, and then he's like, all right. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But this freaking...
I don't know what this fucking guy's doing. I don't know who, like, yeah, I'm gonna hope that this is not a real bomb, but I think it could be a real bomb.
But why?
I don't know. Probably not. It's probably not a real bomb. But it's just the fact that they show a real, like, warhead dropping while they're talking about that. And then in the OP, they also show the real, like, a warhead dropping as well. I'm just afraid that it's a real bomb. And, like, everyone in the comments is going to be like, what about that was metaphorical to you? You saw the warhead dropping and then a nuke went off and the episode ended. Like, you don't... Like,
but if you took it the other way, then everyone would be like, "Oh, you guys are so stupid."
I'm gonna assume it's not a real bomb, but I won't. I'll be less surprised next episode if a real bomb. Obviously, not a literal bomb isn't being dropped on these guys. But maybe it's a different colony. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, it makes. I like kind of what this other guy. It's interesting, actually.
Reggie.
Yeah, like his whole thing that he kind of figured it out already. Of just like, there's only so many people here. And some of them are, like, ridiculously powerful to a level that, like, no one can really compete with them.
So eventually there's going to be a stalemate.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen then?
Yeah. So, yeah, he's got it figured out. Because it's like, if you're really powerful, you just pick everyone off. If you're, like, somewhat powerful like him, he's, like, getting people to, like, get led here. Because everything's so spread out. You can't really, like, hunt people down. Mm-hmm. You kind of got to get people to come to you.
Yeah. I guess it's just the culling game is earning its name right now. Is basically what he's saying. Like, people are just dropping, literally dropping like flies and dying. Like it's a sink or swim scenario, and only like it's gonna immediately cut the population in half, and then in half again, and then the people are gonna kill each other, and then there'll be like 5 to 10% of the people left, and then something else is gonna happen then. Mm-hmm. I could see them being, like, harvested, like... I mean, maybe, So here's the thing. We talked about this in the Maki episode live stream, which is available on our Patreon, I think for free. Yeah, it's available for free. So if you want to go see our reading the manga for the Maki episode and a deeper discussion, I think the stream is, like, 2 hours long, and we did another stream... as well, rewatching some season 2 stuff and making some theories and things. Mm-hmm. But during the Maki stream, we realized and made the connection that Naoya was killed by a mundane knife. And what we've been told numerous times in previous seasons is that a cursed or a sorcerer who's killed without cursed energy will turn into a cursed spirit.
Can.
I think it's will.
Oh.
I think it's will, and that's why Toji was careful when killing Geto trying to kill Geto because he wasn't sure, or is that it? Or was it either Toji killing Geto, or it was talking about when Gojo was killing Geto, or when Kenjaku was going to take over Geto, or something about that. It was with Geto that you had to be careful about killing him because he, like, what would happen to all of his spirits that he has ingested if he died, especially without cursed energy. But anyway, so Naoya gets killed with a knife,
a kitchen knife.
A kitchen knife. So we have theorized that he's probably going to come back as a cursed spirit. After deep diving and talking about that episode more. So maybe that's the kind of shit that Kenjaku's thinking. Like maybe because he still has Geto's body, if he can find a way to nuke and like with a mundane weapon kill the strongest sorcerers, like they won't be able to survive a nuke, but if they die from a nuke, that's not a cursed weapon. So he can talk to Japan's government to drop a nuke on one of the colonies saying like, hey, there's been an outbreak of like this crazy shit. I have contained it and brought everything together. And now all the people who are strongest have it's an he's telling them it's an infestation. But everything in there has been collected. If you can drop a bomb exactly this diameter, you'll kill everything there. They'll all turn into cursed spirits, and then he can devour them. That would be crazy. I just thought about that right now.
So, maybe I'm forgetting.
And then he'd get their techniques, and they'd be the strongest techniques.
Yeah, but like he wanted to, he needs people to like feed into like Tengen, right?
Yeah. So it's about because Tengen evolved. Mm-hmm. It collects all of the cursed energy basically in all of Japan, with the idea is to merge everything together and like create essentially like a higher being or like a godly figure, and maybe control it, maybe just let it loose, maybe be a part of it, mm-hmm. etc. Just see where it goes, because it's a higher plateau that hasn't been reached before, mm-hmm. is kind of what it is. So what you were thinking?
I guess, I was just thinking, because sorry, what's this other guy's name with all the weird little papery looking outfit?
Reggie.
So it's like he's kind of suspecting, that something, he doesn't know anything about that, but he's like suspecting like something weird's gonna happen, which is what Umbrella Man wants, of like absorbing everyone into Tengen once they like reach a certain plateau, basically. What's interesting about that is because like we kind of like knew that like, he had an ulterior motive with this game already since we talked to Tengen and everything, but Tengen had no indication, and like no one has any indication that like he was gonna be off like talking to this council over here, and they're also like, take a seat. There's no seat for him. I don't know where they want him to sit.
I think they just want him to sit in the floor,
I guess. I'd be interested if they like called him here. I imagine he like got into contact with them, whoever they are. Thank you for inviting me here. Okay, never mind. I don't know. It's very strange, and I wonder what he wants. If these people are like, sorcerers from maybe other countries, like you were saying.
They're speaking Japanese though.
Yeah.
And they're all wearing like the same thing. Like I feel like if they were trying to show, these people are all from different nations, they would like be wearing different shit, but they're all like wearing kind of formal clothes.
Yeah.
I think that they're just like the government or people within the government, and maybe they want in on this or something, and he's like convincing. So it's hard for me to talk about this without just talking about spoilers from Evangelion, but like this is like the plot of Evangelion basically. I guess I can't really go further without spoiling Evangelion. Mm-mm. But if you know, it's like, it's pretty much 1-to-1 what's going on in that. Because Lindsay hasn't seen it, and we still plan to finish it one day.
Yeah, sorry.
So I'm not gonna go any further on that. I wish I could, but we started it 5 years ago, and we never finished it.
Mm-hmm. It's just very intriguing, and also this room is really cool, but it gives a really bad vibe. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's very interesting, and since we checked back on the other episode, like I got reminded of that like weird comedy guy, mm-hmm. and we like still haven't even seen him. Like he was like kind of like built up, like we see him in the OP a bunch, and then we saw him in that episode, and then we just like had nothing, and we're getting all these like new other people that are like going crazy. It's very interesting, and like what was interesting as well with like Yuji and Megumi and like who they kind of ended up with is like Yuji, when he got there, was still under the impression, he's like, oh good, he's like a new sorcerer, that means I can reason with him, whereas Megumi had kind of already given up that idea like halfway through. Like once he got in there, he was like, oh no, the new sorcerers are like they're this is also kind of crazy, we probably also won't be able to reason with them. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile Yuji is still just like, oh yeah, they're a modern person, that means that like I can talk. I can sort it out. So I'm interested to see where it goes if he is able to, like, sort it out, kind of, like, convince him, or if he's just not going to be able to, and then we're going to have to, like, you know, and what Megumi's going to think about this other guy, because he's actually trying to, is he actually trying to, like, get his help because he realizes he's strong, or is it, like, is it worth anything? I don't know. All very interesting stuff. I loved this little, like, flashback of Yuji coming in just, like, beating up all the bullies from the other school.
Yeah. That was good.
And also what was good about it is, like, that guy's, like, just the ultimate bystander. Like, he was a bystander back then and didn't do anything, and then he remembered how good of a guy Yuji was, and was just, like, and when he was sending Yuji into the theater, he's like, oh, I should say something and, like, tell him that it, like, don't go in there, but, like, again, he just becomes a bystander and just, like, lets it happen.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough.
I wonder if he'll come in and just get slimed.
Yeah.
Leave a like and subscribe. See you guys next time, Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye.